Hello again, everybody. Today we are going to make a needle book, which seems like a strange thing until you use one and discover how versatile they can really be. They're a pretty handy little gadget. So this one starts out super easy, a very simple pattern. All you need is a fabric, a lining fabric, some felt, and some interfacing. It doesn't take long to put this together. This video is going to be pretty much in real time, as close as I can get it anyway without being completely boring. So choose your fabrics and cut them out, the same as you would with any other pattern. This one allows for 1/2 inch seam allowances. Now this little flap is going to be the first thing you see, so you might want to take a minute and fussy cut, which basically means putting the pattern piece over the prettiest part of the fabric and cutting it out specifically so it looks good. Now I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and not make you watch me have to cut out that other piece. So then you're going to take your main fabric and you're going to put the interfacing on it. This is just fusible interfacing. Make sure that you've got the glue side towards the fabric and always put the glue side down, because that way if it sticks to anything, it sticks to the board, not your iron. And with little projects like this, a washcloth is perfectly good enough. You don't need to haul out the big ironing board. If you're lucky enough to have one of the little woolen mats, that's so great for doing crafts. Now remember, most of the time when you're sewing things like this, unless the pattern tells you different, you want your right sides together. On this, you're going to sew from the X all the way around to the other X on the pattern. And don't forget to back up a few stitches to lock your stitches in place so they don't come undone when you're turning it right side out. And whenever you're sewing something with a sharp corner, don't forget to sink your needle, pull up your presser foot, and pivot the fabric while it's on the needle. That will give you a nice crisp corner. The other thing that will give you beautiful corners is remembering to clip your corners diagonally, very close to the stitches, but make sure that you don't actually cut the thread or it will unravel when you try and turn it inside out. I almost forgot the interfacing on this part and had to go back and add it. It's kind of an important part. It keeps it nice and crisp and sturdy. And if you're like me, you'll be using this little tool quite a lot, so you want it to be sturdy. Now, I apologize for this camera angle. I'm still working out the kinks and figuring out what works. so bear with me, but I hope you'll be able to see this well enough. With corners this sharp, you need to not only clip, but you need to take out a little piece. So a nice little V-cut will do wonders. I don't prefer to cut close to the seam because to me that's just making it possible that it would fray easier. So taking a V-cut like this will give the fabric room to turn inside out without endangering your seam. Be really careful when you're turning inside out. You can use anything to help poke all of those edges out, but make absolutely sure you don't poke through your fabric, which I have admittedly done many more times than once. There are a lot of different tools that you can use to help you turn your corners out crisp. But it's the same concern with all of them. You just have to be careful you don't poke through. You can use the tip of your scissors like I'm doing here. A crochet hook works really well. Chopsticks work amazingly well, especially for bigger projects or projects that are long and skinny. It doesn't matter as long as it works for you. Now on this we're going to press this and we're going to press that raw edge inward. This is for two reasons. Number one, we're going to sew it shut so we don't have a hole in our needlebook cover, but we're also going to use that space to put our flap that goes to the front. Center it, pin it in place with a couple of pins, and then head to the machine. Now we're going to top stitch this. It helps it stay sturdy, it makes it look more finished, and in this case it's going to close that hole and fasten our flap in place. Now you do definitely want to top stitch around the flap. This is the part that's going to get used the most and have the most stress put on it, so you want it as sturdy as it can be. If you're going to take the time to make something beautiful, make it sturdy so it will last. It's always a good idea to clip your threads as you go, not because I'm a pristine sewist by any stretch of the imagination, but because they get in your way, so you might as well just get them out of there so you don't have to bother with them again. Now somewhere along the line of filming and editing, I lost the film that shows how you cut out the felt. All it is simple felt cut slightly smaller than the book itself. You put it in, fold it in half, get a good crease down the middle. That crease will tell you where you need to sew, so you don't have to measure or mark it in any way. Just the crease. Now you've got some really good options for how to close this little book. You can use a snap, you can use a button and a buttonhole. I chose to use Velcro. You just stitch it in. Whatever you like best will work absolutely well. Now, just because it dawned on me that I had the perfect little decoration for this, I'm going to add it. Just because I can, and why wouldn't you? It's just a quick stitch on. It doesn't matter what it's going to look like on the inside. Nobody's going to see that part except you anyway. And honestly, who doesn't need a pink flower? Just because it's cute. And that, my friends, really is all there is to making one of these little books. But wait until you see all the things this little simple book will do. It holds straight pins, just in case you ever need it. You can pin safety pins in it too, but I didn't have any. And of course, the exact reason that you make that is to hold needles. Needles will get dull if you leave them in a hard case where they get knocked around a lot. And that includes sewing machine needles. If you've already used them and they're still good, store them in this book. Now watch this. So we've got some little snaps, and they happen to be on a card. We can just pin the whole thing in here, and they'll stay right there perfectly protected. Isn't that awesome? Not only that, buttons. If you ever need to take an extra button just because, or you've got one that's specific to an outfit that you don't want to lose, this is the perfect place to store it. You just sew it in. You don't even have to be thorough. Just put a thread through it and tie a knot, and it will stay exactly where you put it until you need it. Wonderful if you've got really unusual buttons on some of your clothing that would be really hard to replace. If you want to take a little sewing kit with you, always want to be prepared. Take a needle that's already threaded and put it in this little book. Then you can take the loose thread and wrap it around the needle. Now, I know this looks simple, but the felt will hold that thread. Put a couple of these pre-threaded needles and a couple of safety pins and maybe a couple of buttons, and you can put one of these in your purse and have a sewing kit that goes with you in case of emergencies. And if you have a hard time threading needles, watch this. Make a couple of little snips in one of the pages and thread a needle threader into them. That will stay there. When the book is closed, it will hold all of these things safely for them and safely for your fingers, because when you pick it up, your fingers will be protected by that wonderful cover that we just made. It can stay closed, it can stay in a drawer, it can stay in your purse. If there's one thing I do love, it's something that's beautiful, but more than that, something that's useful. Happy sewing, everybody.